So I was feeling like a collapse of some sort the last couple of days. I went to post a video project in which I was naked on YouTube, and then my whole the video got banned, and then my whole channel got banned, and then my whole channel got removed when I tried to appeal their decision. And it almost was devastating to me, and I also almost don't care at all. But somewhere in the gap between the two, um, I I kind of lost track of something. I think I just had this little toehold in my work in the YouTube world, which was keeping me going in terms of having a place where I had a few pieces of my video art posted, um, that I could point people to when I was seeking collaborations, and otherwise wanting people to be familiar with my work. So it was fairly devastating to lose that, the 12 likes or something on some project that I actually was proud of. But moving right along, it's it's kind of absurd that I even care for a few reasons. So I'm gonna just keep moving on that one. But meanwhile, it really did send me into a bit of a tailspin after already spending a day on Saturday, maybe too much of a day, like just really deep in asking questions, sitting in front of my computer, milling around the apartment in the middle of the edit on this very film in which I was naked, asking about myself as a cis man and being naked on screen, and how much, and if that was like okay or not, I guess, and who how might it impact people, and what might it be? Is it a statement? Is it not a statement? I was going around. I mean, it's the questions were endless in me, and it was very rich, and I was really interested in slowing down to the speed of all of that richness, but also the results in the edit, which I kept touching and kept going back to, was something that was just churning a lot, and there was a few versions of it that I ended up generating, which were all interesting, but not quite anything I actually really wanted to release, which is what's ironic, because what I put up on YouTube that got me banned, I was pretty certain I would never share, other than maybe with a person or two, in order to help me filter through my process of what I was learning from that 9-minute video. I'm really, really interested in allowing myself to be less legible, both to myself and to the world. And I think that it's really triggering to me, to the thought of putting things illegible out in the world. I think it's scarier to me to be accused of bringing nonsense than it is to be accused of bringing something of sense that somebody disagrees with. So I feel really confined by my own inner policing, and what I imagine in the world outside of me is going on, that might reinforce that policing. So I'm going to pull the tarot card now, just to loosen this session up and talk about what I see. So this card we're pulling is Death. I pulled the Death card today. Great. So, right. Whew. I think I was thinking of the term ego death on the way over here just now. And I think pulling the Death card, that's the first thing that comes to mind. There's something I'm going through right now that requires a cycle of death and rebirth around myself as artist, cycle I feel like I go through often. I feel like I'm confronted with this often. Perhaps in some sort of way of the warrior way, this is like, getting closer to facing my death every day. Because what I was noticing as I was thinking about ego death and the way here to filming just now was that I'm wanting to get more, that I'm noticing that I'm being gentler on myself when I'm in that process. There's less panic. It's really uncomfortable, and it feels like if I don't stay sort of focused on being kind with myself but still awake, that I very likely will do harm to myself or set myself back. Whether that's true or not, I think being gentle with myself during these times is really important. And also to be firm, because I do tend to be kind of going into these addictive behaviors and a lot of like things that it's fine, but it's clear to me that I enter these cycles of wallowing and avoidance, syncopated with each other without a lot of forward movement. And that compounds upon itself and starts to become what feels like a depression. Coming back, going back to pulling me back in each time. So this card, Good Old Death, today is an invitation to me to complete that process, to complete this death, to let it complete, perhaps, is what's essential right now for me. And what that means, I think, is not a lot more than keeping my nose down a bit, head down a bit, and focusing, being gentle with myself, drinking enough water, eating, really watching my thoughts from spinning too out of control, or rather from running with them too hard, which I certainly have been running with my thoughts pretty hard. Yeah. I think that I was thinking about going to the forest today, and I didn't. And I think I kind of wish that I had, and I think I kind of knew that I would wish that I had, but it's not a real strong wishing that I had. I also was afraid of going out there and then filming again. Yeah, I think part of my depression is I'm having a hard time connecting with the deep feeling that I know is in me that's like really close to the surface. And when I think of death, I think of, in these terms, like I think of really like blacking out, like starting over, less in the sense of blank slate and more in the sense of surrendering my defenses, letting myself be defeated fully. And even that proposition, as I say it right now internally, brings up a resistance. So it's layered. Not sure what the answer will be. That's the point, I guess. But if I wanted to create a ritual of death here, I was going to try and hang as a hangman upside down from a tree. And I see a tree right here that I could conceivably set myself up on to do that. But going in an inversion like that with my legs wrapped around the tree in the pose of the tarot card hanged man is a relatively scary proposition at the moment. But it might be a worthwhile challenge. Let's see.
I'm aware that a tall, cis, white man, completely nude, frolicking in the forest, can read as offensive, absurd, indulgent, or worse. That reading is part of this work. This piece doesn't aim to transcend or deny that tension, but to stay within it, to hold it gently and awkwardly, and to ask, is there any way this body might move differently, appear differently, relate differently, despite everything it carries and signifies for others? I place myself alone in the forest for this gesture precisely because I don't want to impose on anyone or displace other bodies or voices with the spectacle of my own. The forest seems to receive me without negotiation. No one is interrupted. No one is made to bear the weight of my presence. And yet, in bringing this gesture into film, into visibility, I'm also asking, does this recenter me anyway? Does the act of sharing reassert what I hoped to unsettle?